One of the stolen donkeys turned up with another man, or so Seos reported. That should have made the case simple. It didn't. In 162 BCE, Seos said robbers attacked him as he returned from the oasis. According to his complaint, they took both donkeys and all the goods loaded onto them. But this papyrus gives us Seos' version of the story, not a complete reconstruction of what happened. It does not identify the robbers, preserve statements from other travelers, or tell us how Seos recognized the animal. What it does preserve is the moment the case became more complicated. Seos said the male donkey was now with a man named Seos, but finding the animal with another man did not explain how it got there, or whether that man had anything to do with the original robbery. Think about a stolen phone. If someone was found carrying yours, would that prove they stole it? Or would it only prove they had it? The donkey's reappearance created suspicion. Seos now had to turn that suspicion into something officials could actually examine. Seos knew which donkey he meant. The officials reading his complaint had not seen the attack, so he gave them details they could work from. 2 missing donkeys, the goods they had carried, the route he had traveled, the reported robbery, and the name of the man said to have one of the animals. A complaint could not prove what happened, but it could organize the story around real people, identifiable property, known places, and a request for action. Another petition from Ptolemaic Egypt shows how concrete that could be. One victim listed stolen cloaks, linen garments, part of a priestly outfit, money, and other belongings. The items appeared in 2 columns with stated values, and the petitioner asked officials to recover the property and take further action. The list gave officials specific claims they could check. Seos' complaint served the same basic purpose. His private loss had become a record that people outside the event could work from. Once those details were written down, the case could move from a missing property complaint toward an actual search. According to Seos' complaint, a man named Seos was sent to look for the robbers. The text tells us almost nothing about that search. We do not know what Seos found, or whether his search led to the donkey. What we do know is that Seos later reported the male donkey was with Seos near Hermopolis. He asked officials to place both Seos and the animal under guard so the claim could be investigated. That request may have been intended to keep both available while officials examined the case, but the papyrus does not show that Seos was detained or that the donkey was secured. A detailed complaint could connect a person, an object, and a place, then lead to a search or a request for further action. The document lets us see the investigation being proposed, not its result. By this point, a search had reportedly begun, a man had been named, and 1 missing donkey had been located. What remained unresolved was the most important part. How had the donkey reached Seos? If Seos' case left the connection uncertain, another complaint shows what stronger evidence could look like. The victim accused a man named Theos of taking his cloak. He said he saw Theos running away with it and called out for help. Another man stepped in, and the cloak was placed with a temple attendant until officials could hear the case. Compared with Seos, this victim claimed to have more. He said he saw the man with the stolen property, someone responded to his call, and the cloak had already been recovered. But even that did not settle guilt on its own. The victim asked officials to bring in Theos and the man holding the cloak. He also asked for the cloak, or its value, to be returned if his account proved true. That wording matters. The victim may have sounded certain, but the document still treated his accusation as something to examine. A claimed eyewitness and a recovered object could give officials a reason to act. They still could not explain every step of how the property had changed hands. Another donkey complaint shows why that history mattered. Theodotos said he had lent a female donkey to Nicias. When he returned from a trip, he asked for it back. According to his complaint, Nicias refused to return it, or even show where it was. From the outside, the case resembled Seos's. an owner was separated from a donkey, and another man was connected to it. But the stories began in opposite ways. Seos said robbers took his donkey by force. Theodotos said he handed his over willingly. That changed the question. It was no longer just who had the animal now, but how that person had come to have it. Theodotos asked officials to bring Nikias in. The surviving note says the men should first try to settle the dispute. If they could not, the case could move forward. 2 missing donkeys, 2 men connected to them. One story began with violence, the other with permission. The next case pushes the story beyond the suspect and into official handling. Another petition shows exactly how recovery could create a new problem. A man named Sosigenes said another man had taken his property. According to his petition, an official involved in local policing later found the accused man and recovered a copper cup and 12 drachmas from him. At first, this sounds like progress. The accused man had been found, and some of the missing property had reportedly been recovered. Then the case changed. Sosigenes said the cup was returned to him. The 12 drachmas were not. His petition says the accused man, when questioned, claimed he had handed both the cup and the money to the official who had found him. Sosigenes then accused that official of not returning the money. That does not prove the official kept it. It is another accusation preserved in the papyrus. But the complaint did not simply end there. The note that survives says the matter should be examined and justice should be done. So recovering the property did not solve everything. It created a new question about what happened after the recovery. The official who had helped handle the recovered items was now part of the dispute himself. The papyrus gives us the accusation, the recovered cup, the missing money, and an order to investigate. What it does not give us is the ending. The papyri often preserve the moment a private loss entered official attention. Names, disputed objects, accusations, requests for action, and sometimes the next instruction. What they often do not preserve is the ending, the other person's explanation, the final ruling, or even whether the property was returned. A complaint survives because someone still needed something done, not because the case had already been settled. Much of the evidence here comes from Greek language petitions. They show one documented path into Ptolemaic authority, not every person's experience or every way a dispute could reach officials. The archive is not the whole society. So these papyri may not tell us how often thieves were convicted. What they can show is how a theft accusation could move from suspicion toward investigation. No single ancient technique replaced fingerprints. A case could move forward when different pieces of information supported one another. A recognizable object, a named person, a place, a witness, a reported sequence, and a written request for action. None of those things removed uncertainty. Together, they gave officials something to examine. That connects these cases. Seos had a donkey and a man said to be holding it. The cloak case added a claimed eyewitness. The borrowed donkey showed that a connection to property could begin with permission. The cup and missing money showed that recovery itself could create another dispute. Today, cameras, location data, and timestamps give us more precise traces. But a trace still answers only the question it can support. A phone's location may show where the phone is now. It cannot reconstruct every hand it passed through. Finding Seos' donkey with another man could show where the animal was now. It could not show how it had gotten there. Recovery and proof are not the same event. Finding the property can be only the beginning of the story.